What's poppin', y'all? It's Jay Wolf back with another one. Feel what I'm saying, man? No, I've been gone for a minute. I've been working. As you can see, I'm tired. I'm doing this right before I get ready to go into work right now, trying to hit y'all with another one. This is Into the Abyss. This is a section where we go through all type of scary stuff, UFOs. Right now, today, we doing missing 411 stuff that happens in the forest. You know what I'm saying? Just take a little Bigfoot stuff. You know how I go. Let's see what's popping.
You will never go near the woods again if you watch this documentary. It is about hunters and people who specialize in being in the wilderness who just vanish without a trace. And I'm not talking like they wander into the woods and just go missing. In one of these cases, a guy went into the woods with a group of his friends and they went hunting. He was only about a couple of feet away from them when suddenly they turned around and he was gone. In many of these cases, massive search parties are released to try to find these people, and they are never found. A couple of theories are discussed in this doc, like paranormal theories, Sasquatch theories, ideas that maybe they fell into crevasses. If trained professionals are going missing in the wilderness, you bet your ass I'm not going anywhere near the woods. Let me know in the
Bet your ass I ain't going nowhere near in the woods either. Shoot. I don't know how I don't know how they do it. She said trained professionals is going missing. Kind of it's just this. Closest thing I got to the forest, I was truck driver. I made a wrong turn somewhere, right? We got stuck. I was with a trainer at the time. I was new to trucking. I was with my trainer, right? We got stuck somewhere, man. He had to help me back it out because I got the rig, got the trailer like wedged in a weird position where he had to back it out. I didn't know what I was doing. You know, I was new. I was like probably 2 weeks into it, right? We're somewhere at this forest. And he's like, step out and I'm gonna look at you and you have me back out so I don't hit any trees. I go, okay. I get out, it's the dead of night, right? You hear all the little noises coming in the woods. The woods is like right across from me. I look up, right? Trees are massive. All of a sudden, when I get out and have him back up, the forest gets silent. So while I'm telling him that, showing him how to back out, I'm keep looking behind my back. I'm thinking something gonna come out that thing. The hairs in the back of my neck was standing up, man. It wasn't a good time, man. That was not a good time.
Familiar with this map on the missing persons cases and cave systems being interrelated. There's a theory about trafficking, alien abduction, all that stuff going on. However, look at the reported UFO sightings map. It matches up pretty well with that. Here's this map again. And now here's the reported UFO sightings again. Now, I will say, though, most of these areas are densely populated, so maybe that explains why there's more sightings here, because there's more people. And because there's more people are going to go missing for whatever reason. But I mean, hey, I'm just throwing a theory out there. I'm not saying anything is definite, but it's just suspicious. Are aliens taking people? Is the government posing as aliens and taking people to experiment on? Are people being kidnapped, taken into these caves by other groups of people? Maybe that's where traffickers have their base in caves and stuff like that. And mattress stores, of course. I just want to know what you guys think about this. I found the maps very interesting, but like I said, again, could be just due to sheer population size. Here's the missing persons map and the cave systems again, so you guys can form your own opinions on this. I'm curious to know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. Please leave your theories below. And reminder, these videos are for entertainment purposes only. I think we're all familiar.
Like he said, for entertainment purposes only. I couldn't even get it. I'm sitting here tripping out about this. Comment below what you think about this. This is interesting. I'm looking at this like, wow, it's a good direct correlation, but I don't know. Tell me your theories at the bottom. Comment below. Tell me your theories and comment below. You know what I'm saying? Look, I can't even talk right. This shit got me like,
after watching it. It covers 5 unsolved cases of kids who went missing and just vanished into the woods without any explanation. All the cases are eerily similar, even though they happen over the span of a few decades. One guy is interviewed in the documentary who went missing as a child and was eventually found, And the things that he says in the doc that he remembers is unbelievable. All of these cases are real life horror movies that their families have to live through, not knowing what happened to their children. Les Stroud from Survivor Man is also interviewed in the doc to weigh in his opinion on how he thinks the wilderness works and what may have happened to these kids. If anything, this documentary has just solidified that I will not be going anywhere near the forest, nor will I be taking my future children or dogs. Let me know in the comments if you've ever experienced anything weird in the woods, and hit follow for more documentaries to add to your list.
Hey, man, that Missing 411 is some real stuff, man. Y'all got to check it out. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of crazy stories. A lot. I don't even know if I could tackle most of them on here. We're going to try to tackle some, but, man, it's a lot. You got to see that documentary, man.
Bennington Triangle, the core of which is Glastonbury Mountain in Vermont. The name for the Bennington Triangle was coined in the 90s by a local author, but the strange disappearances, Bigfoot sightings, and other weird events of the Bennington Triangle have occurred decades prior. Native American tribes around the Bennington Triangle have long since believed that the mountain of Glastonbury is cursed. And there seems to be a lot of validity to this with the several disappearances that have occurred in the area, in addition to all the other strange things that happen. From the 1940s to the 1950s, there were no less than 5 strange disappearances in the same area of the Bennington Triangle. In 1945, a man named Mitty Rivers, who was a guide in the area, was leading 4 hunters back to camp when he went ahead of them because he knew the area very well. But he never made it back, and when search parties looked for him, all they found was a single rifle cartridge in the river. A year later, in 1946, Paula Weldon, an 18-year-old at the Bennington College, also went missing when she was going for a short hike, as she told her roommates, and was only supposed to be gone a few hours. The last time Paula was seen by people, she was wearing a red coat walking down the trail. Around 4 p.m. that day, Paula was seen by a boy named Ernest and his 3 friends when she stopped to ask about the length of the Long Trail, a famous trail within the Bennington Triangle. She then set off towards a bridge that led to the trail and was never seen again. There were other supposed sightings of Paula, but none of them seemed as credible as a waitress named Aura. She said she saw a girl matching Paula's description with a 25-year-old man who seemed pretty abusive towards her. When the man had stepped away, the girl matching Paula's description motioned Aura over and asked how far it was to Bennington, Vermont. She said she had to get there, but she didn't have any money to do so with. She was not drunk, but she did seem pretty dazed, and this was before the media had been circulating the news about Paula's disappearance, so Aura did not think too much of it at the time. A few hours after this exchange, locals by the Long Trail said that they saw Paula in her red jacket walking along the trail. She was last seen by an area called Hunter's Rest, which would have been too hard for her to get to because she would have had to cross a stream. Some believe that there were 2 women matching this description on the trail that day. Others believe that Paula somehow got across the stream. It's not really clear, but this confusion is exactly the same as other cases that have happened within the Bennington Triangle. Nobody really knows for sure what happened. Exactly 3 years to the day after Paula went missing, a 68-year-old man named James Tedford went missing from a bus. He was heading towards Bennington after visiting family, and the bus driver and several other witnesses said he was still in his seat as far as the last stop before Bennington. And yet, when the bus pulled into Bennington, James was gone, but his luggage was still in the rack, and witnesses said it was like he vanished into thin air as they were crossing through the Bennington Triangle. On October 12, 1950, an 8-year-old boy named Paul went missing from his mother's pickup truck while she was feeding pigs. She had left him there for an hour, and he mysteriously disappeared as well. The search dogs lost his scent before long, and then a 5th person went missing shortly after. Let's talk about the
And the one place I'm not going, to that Bennington. I ain't hitting over there, you feel me? I ain't going to Bennington. Shit, you wind up missing going to Bennington. Man, there's some stories right there, man. You gonna wind up missing going to Bennington. I ain't never heard of that spot. I know one place I'm never vacationing to. You feel me?
one of the most haunted places in Florida, if not the country, and I'm going to prove it to you. From missing people to paranormal encounters that defy explanation, Ocala National Forest is chock full of strange things. One of the forest's 600 lakes and rivers is called Mud Lake. The legends surrounding Mud Lake claim that it is haunted by the victims of the KKK. Some people have claimed to see dead Klansmen standing around the lake's edge. Other people claim they've seen hands rising from the water's surface. The trek to get out to Mud Lake is pretty treacherous as well and filled with huge alligators. One phenomena that Ocala National Forest is really well known for are the Watchers. There are different accounts about what the Watchers actually are, but some people have reported that they see a humanoid figure standing off the side of the road looking at them, only when they turn their head to look at it straight on, it's gone. One of my followers named Jaina submitted a story about how she was driving through the forest at one point and was trying to flip through the stations to find something with signal, but kept hitting static. Not sure if she was driving on Highway 40, but that is the most well-known and most haunted road that goes through Ocala National Forest. At one point, they could hear a man's voice coming through one of the stations saying, "Help, someone please help," and then he started screaming. Once they had signal again, Jaina called the non-emergency line and reported it, thinking maybe it was interception from a hand radio. Police sent an officer out, but as far as she knows, they never found anything. She said they also kept seeing faces and eyes from the tree line, which is usually all people can see of the watchers. Interestingly, Jaina thinks that she brought something back with her after this experience, since sometimes when she gets in her car, she'll hear weird, unexplainable noises, and the radio will flip back to that station that they heard the screaming on. There is some debate about who the watchers are, whether they're paranormal entities or if they are victims of the Ocala National Forest or the spirits of missing people who passed away within the forest. But they are far from the only phantoms lurking within those woods. A being known only as the Dark Man supposedly haunts Ocala and the surrounding towns. The Dark Man might actually be several different entities, but they all appear as thick shadows with no discernible features. They are also much more likely to be spotted in other areas where supernatural things have happened. So rumor that they have appeared where missing people were last seen or vanished from. And yes, some of them do wear hats similar to the Hat Man, which makes some people wonder if they are the same kind of being. The same creatures have been seen within the Bridgewater Triangle in Massachusetts. There was one person who was teaching juveniles who were in an old converted mental health facility within the Bridgewater Triangle. And even though these kids had not met each other, had not intersected lives at all, they had all seen some version of these dark figures. I could do an entire video on these entities and how they seem to appear anywhere tragedy has occurred, especially in Florida.
Man, it's always some weird ass shit in Florida, man. Florida weird, man. Florida, You live in Florida, shout out to you, but y'all be having some weird shit happen out there, man.
The disappearance of 3-year-old Riker Webb is one of the strangest stories I've ever read. So this is Riker Webb, a 3-year-old from small town Troy, Montana. And on June 5th, 2023, this is how he looked when he was found. On that day, a family that was visiting their remote cabin in the middle of the wilderness heard the sounds of a little boy crying out from behind a shed. When they went behind the shed, they discovered young 3-year-old Riker. He was all alone, he was terrified, and they didn't know how he had gotten there. So they called the police, they located his family, and they figured out that he'd been missing for 2 nights. So apparently on the day that he went missing, Riker had been outside playing with his dog, and he decided to go on a walk by himself. Now, according to some reports, his family actually noticed that he had been missing but waited for 2 hours to actually report it to the police. And in that time, Riker traveled a very long distance. Now, just take a look at this little map. This is where Riker was at the beginning of this ordeal, and this is where he was found 2 days later. I think it's absolutely wild that a 3-year-old could actually walk that far in 2 days, let alone completely by themselves in an area that, according to locals, is heavily populated with bears and mountain lions. Now, during the time while Riker was missing, there were massive thunderstorms that were pummeling the area, water was pouring down from above, and at night the temperatures dropped into the 40s, so these were absolutely insane weather conditions. And even some adults wouldn't be able to survive this ordeal. So there are still so many questions that remain in my head about this case, like how he made his way all the way down from that point to that point, how he survived the elements. But at the end of the day, I'm just so happy that he was found and located and brought home safely.
Hey man, what would you do out there in the forest and you just, you know what I'm saying? You sleeping out there, got your little, it looked like you had a night vision camera on and just something just creep out like that, man. I can't sleep in no forest. I gotta have like a cabin or something safe around me. I gotta feel secure. You know what I mean? But you comment, what would you do in a case like that? Like, I'd probably be screaming. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. That's just too much for me.
In 1989, 22-year-old Eloise Lindsay was a fresh college graduate, and she was at a crossroads in her life because even though she just earned her degree, she really didn't know what she wanted to do with her life. And because she was an experienced backpacker, she thought a good way to, kind of get her life together would be to go on a sort of retreat, go out into the woods, go out into nature, and kind of find herself. So she had planned this very detailed 43.3-mile hike along the Appalachian Trail, starting in South Carolina, where the first 7 days of the hike, she would be totally on her own. And then at the 7-day mark, she would meet up with a friend at a particular rendezvous point. Her friend would give her resupplies and would be her companion for the rest of the hike. When Eloise told her parents what her plans were, they were not concerned for her safety because she was an experienced backpacker. She had made trips like this before. And so they said, great, we'll see you when you get back. So on November 4th, Eloise sets out to begin her journey down the Appalachian Trail. And the first couple of days of her hike were great. The weather was beautiful, the scenery was amazing, and she had all this time to just kind of be by herself and look internal and think hard about what she wanted to do with her life. But on the third day, when she woke up, she was sleeping inside of a tent she had camped just off the trail. She woke up and she had this intense sense of dread. She couldn't really place where it was coming from, but she knew something was wrong. And she's kind of doing inventory of her life. Like, what did I forget? Is there something that I'm just not thinking about right now? But she kind of pushes it aside mentally and thinks, okay, you know what? I'm just going to pack up my campsite here and get hiking. And I'm bound to, come up with what it is that's making me feel this way. So she gets out of her tent and she begins packing up her campsite. And she's looking out, kind of scanning the tree line, not because she was looking for anything, but just because she happened to be looking out. And she could have sworn that she saw a man standing, 30, 40 feet away behind a tree. And she kind of did a double take and was staring at him. It's, it's broad daylight, it's the morning, and they're near a trail. So it isn't like unbelievable that there might be someone near her at that very moment. But she kind of did a double take and she looked at them again and this person was gone. And she stood there for a minute, just kind of looking in the direction of where she had seen this guy, wondering, is my mind playing tricks on me? Did I really see someone there? Why aren't they showing themselves again? If there was someone there, they clearly must have just been looking at me. Why aren't they, poking their heads out again to communicate with me in some way? We're out in the middle of nowhere. We should be talking to each other. But the guy never shows himself again. And so as she's standing there wondering what she should do, she isn't ready to yell out to this person because there's part of her that's a little bit nervous about yelling out to some stranger in the middle of the woods. But she starts to get this really intense feeling that she's being watched. And it feels an awful lot like the sense of dread she had while she was in the tent. And she's starting to wonder, are my instincts or is my sixth sense in
and that's Mr. Ballin. If you don't know who he is, man, he the reason why I started doing these reactions to these like spooky things and stuff, man. I used to watch him a lot when I was at work and listen to the stories, man. Should be crazy, man. Y'all tune in to him. Shout out to him. I ain't no hater over here, you know what I'm saying? I'll tell you where I get it from. I'll tell you to go subscribe to them, go look at them too, man. You know what I mean? Spread the love. You feel me? Spread the love. All right, so I know I left y'all with a cliffhanger with Mr. Ballin. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, go check him out. I got to get ready to go to this thing called work, get these dollars. Man, I will holler at y'all later. I'm going to hit y'all with some more. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing it before work, after work. I'm trying to grind 30 days on this thing. We're going to see what happens. Now, if the videos don't come out, boom, 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 they blame my editor. You know what I'm saying? My editor be lacking. You feel what I'm saying?
My bad, y'all. I'm going to catch up with it. I got y'all.
And I got stuff out here. My editor be lacking. You know what I mean? He know who he is. It's time to stop lacking. It's time to start working. We're going to do this Into the Abyss episodes. We about to shoot some other stuff. I got other content I'm about to react to, man. Y'all stay tuned, man.